Hey YouTube, it's Felice HD. I am back again, and we are here for the season 3 finale of The Shy. It's bittersweet. I am going to miss checking out the new episodes every Sunday, but here we are. So, this episode starts out with the memorial for Ronnie, which we saw last episode, where he was gunned down as a result of his past. It came back to haunt him, and pretty much everybody that we expected to be there was there. We saw Keisha, we saw Kevin, we actually Jake and Papa's daddy did the eulogy, and it was done in the church. Tracy was there. Pretty much, like I said, everybody that you would expect to be there, his buddies from the bar. It was actually a really nice send off. There was a touching moment there where they gave everybody kind of the opportunity to, say a few words or whatever. And there was a moment where Keisha took flowers up to the casket and thanked him one last time. That was actually really touching, to see her really kind of pay her last respects. Um, one of the tougher uh one of the tougher parts of this episode was we see um Emmett is sort of off of his game this episode. He doesn't really have the gift of gab this episode. He's saying all of the wrong things to pretty much everybody unanimously across the board. And you could tell he has quite a few awkward moments. I think he was annoying his mom when they were going through the processional to the burial site for Ronnie, who was actually, given the flag, the honor, and memorialized as a result of his service to the country in the military. So he's on there. Everybody's the processional is on the way to the burial site, and it was like, did he have to get shot like in front of the restaurant? Like, we didn't really see what the impact is gonna be on the restaurant. We didn't see Dom at all. We didn't see anything about the restaurant at all. The finale really focused on some other elements of the story and took those to the next level. So we'll touch on a few more of those before we end the recap. But let me tell you something. Emmett, he just was putting his foot in his mouth this entire episode. So then, okay, he realizes that was a dud with his mom. So he catches up with Keisha. She's a little further ahead in the processional to the burial site for Ronnie, and he's like, "Yeah, what's up? What's up?" They're chit chatting or whatever, and her countenance is really heavy. And he's just like, "What's up? You can talk to me." Which he shouldn't have said, because he absolutely said the wrong thing to her. He was like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "I'm pregnant, Emmett." He was like, "This is the first time somebody told me that, and it wasn't mine." And she was like, "Really?" She gave him the really face, like, "Really? Right now? You gonna do that?" You know what I'm saying? If you could think of the absolute wrong thing to say, he was nailing it. Okay. We move forward to see, like, pretty much everybody is really kind of coming to terms with the finalizing of, Ronnie's gone, and um, this is what it means to everybody. Jake was like, "It's a couple people I know that's happy he gone," but then no sooner than everybody can kind of let it sink in, the cops show up and they arrest Papa's daddy. So we know now that something's amiss, because he's looking like, "What's up?" And they're like, "Look," they won't even tell him on site what he's being arrested for. So I thought that was interesting. Papa's just kind of taking it all in. Of course, Kevin and Jake are there for him, but you could tell by the look on his face that he's just like, this ain't good. you know um as things progress, as things move along, we start to see like a lot of different things take place. I don't know if we even really know like all of what is gonna happen following this. There were a couple of things that got left out there that I really wanted to see what was gonna happen because I was really trying to figure out like what was gonna happen as far as Tracy. She um she appeared to be, she appeared to have it together, as a lot of people do in ceremonies, and everything, but we really didn't delve into, how this is going to impact her at all, which is what I was kind of hoping to see. I was looking online today to see if there was a date for season 4, and there is not. So, I'm gonna be keeping my eyes open to see when Showtime is gonna renew season 4 and what the date is gonna be to expect the season 4 to start, because we got a lot of unfinished business after this episode. Now they touched on a lot, but it's still, so much more to see. I really just need some more answers. Okay, so we go from seeing Papa getting apprehended by the law, by the authority. Okay, which was so random. Like they know where the church is, they know where he lives. Like they didn't have to come snatch him up out the graveyard like that. That was a lot. We move forward to Tiff and Emmett in counseling, which is always, interesting. They're still up to their shenanigans, and they're a little bit more on the same page. I think they're both excited about, getting married and tying the knot or whatever. But I mean, Tiff just receives just another stamp that, she gonna have to, whip him into shape, because he just not, it's not, he didn't know what to say in this situation either. She was like, "Okay, yeah, did you go get the marriage license?" He was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He stumbled through that, yeah, because he was lying like I don't know what. And she was like, "Look, I know you lying, and I'm gonna give you a pass because you're about to go do it, but don't keep like." And it almost turned into a thing, but she's still on cloud nine, so she was not going to give him that kind of energy. She was just like, "Look, I know you didn't do it. Just do it, okay?" So they decide to, tell the therapist to take a hike, I guess for one reason or another, because now they're really trying to figure out like the logistics of physically, like the logistics of how they're actually going to carry out saying their vows and like what their wedding is going to look like, um the actual day. So they go from the counseling where they decide, you know what, we don't even, because the lady was like, "Look, you don't need my permission to get married." And Tiff was like, "Bet," you know what I mean? But I think they were looking for her stamp. I think they were looking like, okay, are we in a place emotionally and relationship wise where we can feel confident moving forward? And she was just like, "That is not up to me. You don't have to convince me." I don't think she's a fan. I think she would much rather them wait because she knows they're not ready, but they're super excited. They are not turning back. Tiff was like, "It's about time he proposed." Like she's like, "We're not waiting. We're gonna keep this ball rolling." So she's ready to become, Miss Emmett. So as things move forward, Jake and Kevin and Papa, they have bunkered down in Kevin's room and they're vaping again and kind of trying to hash things out. And Papa had a break. He had, like a slight meltdown. He was just like, "This is new for me." Like he's having his coming of age moment where he's really just like, "Okay, I don't know what to do. If my dad, goes up the road, then I'll be the man of the house, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. I'm already trying to hold things down with my Aisha. Like, what if I have to hold things down for my mom too?" That was a lot. They was like, "Look, Papa, just blaze a little bit and chill out." And he was just like, "Y'all already about it. Like, you damn near a 63rd Street mobster. Kevin did shot somebody. Like this is a lot for me. Like I'm not the one that got all of the ratchet drama. It was so cute. They had a moment where they were just like, "Look, get over it. You'll be fine." You know what I mean? I think he was a little scared for his dad, but he didn't want to show his emotions out on the graveyard and the cemetery or whatever. So now he can kind of unveil, the panic that he was feeling while he's in an environment safely with his friends. He didn't really put it nicely. Like he kind of took a dig at them, but they were cordial about it and they were trying to comfort him regardless. So we move and fast forward to this situation with Duda, which I really feel like it's something going on. I don't know all of what has taken place, but it is something going on uh with Papa's dad and Duda and Gemma's dad. They are in cahoots some type of way because Gemma's dad came to Duda and was like, look, the pastor done got pinched and he's singing like a bird and they got him for money laundering and I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm giving you the heads up. And dude, I didn't seem worried one bit. He was like, all right, I think that would definitely be a point for season 4. I think it's going to take us at least 2, 3 episodes to unpack the inner workings of whatever they have going on. And I'm pretty sure that because of their status in the community, it's all three of their statuses, honestly, they all are influential. They all have a lot of people that are rooting for them and woven into their web, so to speak. So it's not going to be something that is going to be like short reaching. I'm pretty sure whatever they have going on is major and it has a major impact on that community. So I'd be interested to see a little bit more of what Jim's dad and Papa's dad and Duda got going on, because it seems like it is just intricate and it seems like it's deep. So we're going to fast forward past that because they didn't get much into that um this episode. Next, we see Keisha. She has made her way to Jada's and they are having a chit chat, heartfelt discussion about the fact that Keisha is pregnant and she's uncertain of how to proceed. I think this is not something that she expects to be, a happy occurrence. But I think she is really torn because she does want to do the right thing, but she's not 100% sure what the right thing is in this situation. So Jada tries to give her a little bit of encouragement, but she's like, you know what? It's really somebody else that I think you should talk to about this. Um, I was conflicted. I didn't know what to make of it, honestly, when she came around the corner because she was just like, sitting there. Their last encounter wasn't really, it wasn't on the best note. So I applaud them both for taking the high road. The claws came out the last time. I don't remember what episode that was, but Tiffany was like, look, if you gonna come over here, don't come over here dressed like no hooker. And she was like, girl, I don't want your man, okay? I'm dressed like this for mine. Well, this episode, their interaction was much, much different. Both of them have gone through quite a few changes in between that first encounter and now. So Tiffany doesn't have to feel threatened anymore by Keisha because she has been chosen as wifey. She also understands the severity of the situation. She understands that Keisha is someone that Emmett and Jada care tremendously about. So it's not just simply the fact that, Keisha and Emmett have a past uh, sexually and, intimately. It's more so now about this is part of their tribe. And she's really, really hurt and vulnerable. And you can just see something totally different in her eyes than what she was serving when she came to the house before. She is defeated. She is really, really broken, and she is searching for answers. And Tiff, I think she really was like, this is serious. This is a serious decision that you have to make, sis. I don't envy you, but you don't have all day. So you really got to think about what you're going to do. Because, if you can't stomach it now, it's not going to be easy. I think she gave her a perspective that, this is a private conversation. A lot of people don't talk openly about, like we talked about the feminine things of, you know, having to decide whether to have an abortion or not. That's not something that people talk about. She talks openly with her about the emotional process of dealing with that dilemma and when she had to make it and why she made it. And I think that this moment that they had was really, really genuine. I thought it was heartfelt, and I think that it was necessary because they're going to interact again. So it was really, really good to see that even despite the circumstances, that they were both able to be very mature and very sincere in that moment. Moving forward, hmm, things get a little interesting from there. Papa's daddy comes up to the pizzeria and he's like, "Look, this is not what you think, okay? Papa ain't having it." Papa's like, "Look, I ain't no kid no more. You need to get it together, bro." Like he really stepped to his pops like, "Yo, what's up with you? Like you okay?" Kevin and Jake was just kind of like, "My name Bennett." Like they just was like I ain't got nothing to say. I ain't got nothing to say. They had nothing to say. Papa handled, his expression of that. He was just like, "Listen, I don't know what's up with you, but I ain't got time for it right now." So you can tell right now that they have unfinished business. They have to hash that out. But that wasn't necessarily the environment for them to do so because, I think Papa was embarrassed and he was also really upset. So we see later in the episode that once he's had a chance to really think things over and really step his respect game up because he was kind of being a little he's barking a little bit and he really shouldn't have been talking to his father like that. I think once he had a time to cool down and really think about it, that he was ready to step to him and have the conversation like a young man, and which I thought was a really good idea because that was getting ready to get heated for no reason. So we move forward. Let me tell you something. This scene with Emmett and his father and with Emmett and his parents and Tiff. The, I don't know why Emmett keeps expecting Darnell to take the high road. Okay, Darnell is a disappointment across the board, and he's okay with it. He's okay with being the dad that gives you an outfit that has a security tag on it. He's okay with taking you for the bachelor party that is really coupon based and is full of ill-advised ill-advised activity. I mean, I just feel like he should have let that boy have his real bachelor party with his friends. He shouldn't have even. Donnell is waste your time 2020, okay? And I don't know why Emmett keep fooling with him. He keep trying to make fetch happen with Donnell's ass. Okay? He needs to stop fooling with him like that. Now, I'm not gonna hate. Jada gave Tiff like a lit bachelorette party. They had a ball. She was like, "Okay, sis, I know you did not want a male stripper, but guess what? You going to turn up, okay?" That was so cute. I mean, just the way that she brought them together. They had a good time. It was drinks. It was a little, shenanigans. They really turned up and they had a good time. As far as the whole situation with the outfits, I mean, they want a budget. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Like, it, Donnell was like, "Beggars cannot be choosers. Okay, either you gonna wear this, or your Tiff was like, look, I'm gonna take this white dress. Okay, I'm gonna take this white dress one way or the other. You good?" Like, I was like, "Wow, she looked really beautiful." So I think that was just the idea. The idea was just to make sure that they were able to pull this off one way or another. I'm trying to really understand, like, what is the situation with you see Duda's wife go connect with Camille. I That whole exchange was a read, okay? Camille was like, look, don't come in here expecting me to do your dirty work, okay? I don't get paid to do that. All right. I was just like, honestly, Duda's wife is relentless. So she orchestrated that entire thing. She wanted Jake to take that folder down there to Camille. She knew exactly what was going on. And then she shows up. So later in the episode, we see Jake is on his way with Trig and Imani to custody court. And Duda's wife shows up and he's nowhere to be found. So by default, Trig gets Jake. And Jake is now moving with Trig and Imani, and he's like, it's whatever. I mean, when I tell you Duda is playing chess right now, he really is. He's like, oh yeah, no. I'm not gonna get Jake. I'm gonna get both of them now. I was like, oh my gosh. He shows up at the house and Imani does not appear to be a fan. She's like, this feels like fuckery. You know what I'm saying? But she let them talk. They talking it out, and Duda lets Trig know. He propositions him. He's like, look, I want to pay for his school, and I want you to work for me, and we gonna keep it like that. I'm like, I'm screaming at the screen like, no, Trig, don't do it, don't do it. He was like, bet. So we have to come back for season 4 to see what that Duda Trig combo gives. Because let me tell you something. That Duda that Duda and Reg combo didn't work out too well. Especially for Reg. So I'm just trying to see, like, Jake can't lose another brother. I mean, I feel like this is a bad idea. I feel like this is a bad idea. But until they capture this in season 4, we don't know whether this is a bad idea for Duda or bad idea for Trig. That remains to be seen. Because one thing about it, I'm gonna tell you something. Trig has already outsmarted Duda. He got Duda to that meeting where he shot that guy that shot Reg, and Duda didn't have a clue. So he thinks he's manipulating Trig, but he don't know. Like, I wouldn't play around with Trig. Like Jake said, I wouldn't play around with Trig on the same level as he did with Reg. He might not want to do that because Trig is pretty Trig's pretty savvy. Um, so we gonna have to move forward and see how that goes. But once they get to um the custody court, it was very touching when they were in the elevator. And he was like, because even when he was when he was getting dressed, he was telling Imani, Trig was telling Imani, I'm nervous, and she was just like, look, we gonna go, we gonna do what we can do, and that's that. He was just like, it's not just the case, like, what if I get him? I don't know if I know how to lead a family. You know what I mean? And she was just like, we'll figure it out together. You know what I'm saying? I love that energy. I thought that was so dope. They get to the court, and then he's like, Jake actually sees, Trig being vulnerable. They're in the elevator. He was just like, I'm nervous. He asked Jake, he's like, you nervous? He's like, nah. He playing it cool. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I am. He was like, I am too. You know what I'm saying? So it was cute. That was a cute moment. But when they get to the courtroom, it's serious business. It's like, look, what's up? So they realize, even after hearing Jake say, look, I want to live with my brother, and they've already looked at everything. The fact that Duda did not show up was the determining factor. He's like, look, it's by default at this point. Um, I thought I thought that was interesting. I didn't expect that. I expected Duda to, to fight it, but now I see that he's playing the long game. He's like, look, I'm trying to win this race. Like, I don't even really have time for the back and forth. But at the same time, we gonna see. We gonna see. We gonna have a reckoning. So you also see Papa and Maisha linking up, and the fellas orchestrated it. So they knew that Papa needed some, TLC. He was going through some changes. They're like, hey, 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 what's up? What's up? What's up? Call Maisha up. She connects with Papa, and they go off and do their little, bonding or whatever. It was interesting to see the interaction that Tiff and Emmett had, that evening after, after everything was done with the bachelor and the bachelor situation. That was really nice. I thought that, they kind of came together, but I mean, I don't know. It seems like he wants to tell Tiff that he messed up, but he knows that he may lose her, so he's like indirectly, he's like, I'm not perfect, and she's like, yeah, I think she knows he fucked and I don't think she cares because, she's moving forward. She's like, look, I love him and I'm gonna be with him. We move fast forward to Keisha. She's in the abortion clinic and she is having overload. It's too much. It's too much for her. She's like, I can't do this. It's too much. Um, her mom's right by her side, but it doesn't really seem to matter because she's still torn. She hasn't decided 100%. Um, so we see later that, she's actually crying it out and she's talking with her mom back at home. And her mom's like, look, it's whatever you want to do. I think Kevin's reaction kind of helped her understand that this is a lie. When he came in and he overheard what was going on and he found out that Keisha was pregnant, he was like, you about to have the creep dude's baby? Like, I think in that moment she realized, like, that's gonna make this be so, like, that child would be a gentle reminder each day that this happened to her. And she's already so fragile. Like, I don't think it was the judgment in Kevin's tone that did it. I think it was the bringing that point home of, do you really think you can raise a rape baby in the emotional state that you're in? And what is that going to take for you? Um, it was a tough scene. Again, I mean, Kevin is bringing the heat because, he's just going through so much so fast that he has no filter. Like, he has no, life has been no nonsense with him these past couple of weeks or episodes or whatever this time span is for season 3. So he just has no filter. He just like, look, telling it like it is across the board. And I think his mom was just kind of like, hey, watch out. What are you thinking saying that to her? But I think that was what she needed to hear because that was a harsh reality to come to. And honestly, that's what she was going to be signing up for. It doesn't look we can't really tell for sure because she's so thin. Um but and it's so early. So we can't really tell whether at the end of the episode when we see her out running, whether, she's going to keep it or not. I assumed that she didn't just because, running is not really the best idea. I mean, people do it though, especially people that are really, really physically fit. But usually when you're pregnant, they tell you take it easy. Um, So that would be something that we would have to wait until season 4 to really see what she decides, whether she decides to have the baby or not. Kevin went from a boy to a man. He linked up with Gemma. They had their first, they had their virginity or whatever. And I mean, she was just like, I know that I want it to be you. So, in the process of them talking through that, he says, how like she was saying something about her therapist or whatever. And he's like, how do you, go to a therapist or whatever? And she was like, oh, yeah, I tried to kill myself before. And I think that in her bearing that personal moment about herself, it helped kind of restore that bond because now he knows something personal about her, and she's being open and she's sharing and she's being transparent. And I thought it was really touching because she, was cherishing him properly to say, you know what, I know you trusted me with something and I mishandled it, but listen, we can work to try to restore that trust. I like the Gemma Kevin dynamic. I think they're really good for each other. So I'd like to see that continue into season 4. Now we also have a moment with Imani and Jake, which I felt was very necessary because prior to that, Trig is such a dominant character in both of their lives that he was sort of like the segue between them. So we see them alone. And the dynamic there is actually pretty fair. It looks like both of them are coming to the table with a certain level of, diplomacy. I think that they have an opportunity there to build that bond, and both of them appear to be willing to do that. I think Amani was trying to open up the floor for discussion because she's like, okay, yeah, do you understand what's going on here? Let's be clear about what's going on. I'm gonna look out for you, but you're gonna have to, carry your weight around here. And then also too, do you understand what's going on between me and your brother? And he lets her know that he understands that Imani is trans. It doesn't bother him. He's fine with it all. He's like, my brother fool with you, I fool with you. Like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I love that because I felt like it really depicted how the younger generation looks at um, matters of sexuality in general. I think that a lot of young people don't have those biases. They don't have those hangups and those apprehensions until that's um, fed into them. So I loved his purity and his genuineness when he was just like, "Look, you cool with me. I don't have no problem with that shit." Um, well, after that, then there's the conversation with Papa and his daddy. He's just so he's afraid for his father, and I think he's always been afraid for his father. As soon as he saw him kind of venturing off into some things that were less than honorable or that could be perceived as less than honorable, he verbalized that initially, like, "Why'd you take money from Camille?" Or "What's going on with that situation?" You know, he's always been like on his back, like, I'm watching you, I'm looking at what you're doing, I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't feel right. So now he's dealing with the repercussions of what has happened, and his ex-father's explanation that, listen, I'm trying to do this to make sure that I give you everything you need. He's like, I need you. That's what I need. I don't need all of that. I don't need you to take, I don't need you to sacrifice your integrity to provide for me. So that was very, very mature. That shows that Papa he's been raised right. The daddy's doing something right. He put a lot of values into him, and I think it was I think it was a good moment. It was a very heartfelt moment. Now, this is the moment of the entire. There were two big major moments in this episode. The major moment that everybody was kind of waiting on is the election results. So we see that Duda is victorious and he becomes, the winner of the election. But Camille's like, hey, we can still make our impact in this community. Don't worry. So she gives her, digress speech to her team. And it was very diplomatic. I don't think that she's down and out. I think that, she feels good about how she did things because she's like, I took the high road. I didn't have to, sling mud. And she knows that I was victorious, the right way by not, stooping to that level. Because she absolutely could have won if she would have threw Doodah under the bus. Um, the other major moment in this episode was Emmett and Tiff's marriage, which, it went off without a hitch. There were a few side eyes when it was like, does anybody object? I was hoping they weren't going to do that. I was really hoping that they weren't going to shatter their dreams. We do see that, it went well. They got through it. Um, Emmett chose another outfit. He was like, look here, we're not wearing that shit. They want something totally different. They was like, look, we're not wearing that shit. uh, I don't know though, because it looked like Tiff got no. Did she wear that dress or she wear a different red? I think she might have wore that dress. I don't know. No, it looked like she got a different dress. But she still looks beautiful. So they did their thing. And then they had their little baby there, and he was able to see everything. It was gorgeous. I loved it. So the end of the finale is with, Trig, Imani, and Gemma. I mean, no, Trig, Imani, and Jake. Okay, so the end of the finale starts with Emmett and Tiff getting married. Then it goes to um, Jake and Trig and Imani. They having a family unit, everything is everything. Then it goes to Gemma and Kev saying goodnight with the goodnight kiss, Then it's like, oh my gosh, it's just one thing after another of like wrapping it up. I felt like, I don't know. Oh, and then you see Nina and Dre. They're in a, they hugged up, You see Keisha kind of staring at the wall, I mean, there were a few other things that I wanted to see, what was gonna happen. Because I told you I thought that Tiff was gonna find out about Dom. I wanted to see what happened with the restaurant. I wanted to see what happened if Tiff gonna find out about, you know, uh, Emmett and Dom being, entangled, for lack of a better term. Um, I don't know. There's so many things. Like, I'm rooting for season 4. I need a date, okay? I need a date. I need to see when we're gonna get some of these, get some answers for some of these, loose ends we got here. Duda is calling the shots. He's running things, really running things. He's running things above board and underground. So we really got to see what he's gonna do. All right. I can't wait to start with season 4. We will be here for reviews and recaps. So make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe and tune in. For those of you that don't know, the Showtime app has seasons 1, 2, and 3 available. Peace and blessings until next time.